I've already made some avoidable mistakes, even though it's only been a month. Hi, in-betweener. Welcome back to Pivots and Paydays. Today, we're going to do a little bit of a different type of video. We launched Pivots and Paydays about a month ago and have already gotten to 2,000 subscribers, which is blowing my mind a little bit. So thank you for watching. Today, we're going to do a different video because I've already made some avoidable mistakes, even though it's only been a month. And who knows, this might develop into a failing out loud series of some sort. I don't know yet. I don't know. Let's start with this one and see where we go. So the first thing is thumbnails. I did not know that thumbnails were so important. And I don't know why I didn't know that thumbnails were so important, because there's so much out there telling you that thumbnails are so important, but it just completely went over my head. I'm not gonna lie. I've never watched a single video or read about how thumbnails are so important. I just didn't. And I think I know why. I was so excited just to get the episodes out because the pivot stories are incredible. And if you haven't had the chance to watch them yet, I'll link that here. Definitely go and check that playlist out. There's a lot of real techniques that you can adopt or inspiration that you can take from these stories. But getting those stories out was the primary thing. And I was tunnel vision on that. So I didn't really think about thumbnails. I didn't really think about the title of the video. So since putting them out, I've taken a step back to do some relearning and just figuring out the science and the art of making good thumbnails. The first thing I would recommend that you do before you put your content out is go and research, have a quick browse. What would you search for? See what comes up and see what thumbnails they're using or what types of thumbnails they're using. I'm not saying you should copy them, but study the principles that they're using and then try and design your thumbnails with similar principles in mind. The good thing is that on YouTube, you can change it even after your video has gone live, which is great news for me because I'm definitely going to redesign the thumbnails, I think, for my first few videos and just make them a lot more optimized for engaging people and hopefully retaining them. But yeah, just getting them to actually stop and click. And that goes for the title as well. All of the titles pretty much follow the same formula so far. And again, I didn't really think about how the title could lend itself to what would stop someone in their tracks so that they click on the video. I just optimized more for the title saying what the video actually was. But if you're not familiar with it, then you're not necessarily going to know. So I need to think about how to make that a bit more obvious to the viewer so that they actually click on it and they immediately know what value they're going to get from watching it. Because that's essentially what it is, right? You're competing for people's attention. And if someone's going to give your content that attention, they need to be sure that it's going to add value for them. Otherwise, they're going to click on it and they're never going to come to your channel again, which is ideally not what you want. So yeah, I'm definitely going to redesign the thumbnails and the titles that are on the first few videos of my channel, and we'll see what the impact on our click-through rates are. The second thing I would say is the intro section. So in my first few videos, the intro section, I think it's about 2 minutes long. I can't remember exactly now, but it's a bit long. It's basically me talking about what Pivots and Paydays actually is. And then I go into talking a little bit about who the guest is and some of their key milestones and achievements. But when I looked at the data from the first few videos, what I started to see was that the majority of people would only stick around and watch the first 60 seconds, if that, of the videos before deciding if they were going to watch the rest of it or not. And we were losing a lot of people in that first 60 seconds. And essentially that first 60 seconds was only the intro. So we hadn't really delivered any value. So it makes sense that people would decide that this isn't going to give them what they're looking for, because that comes later on in the video. The learning is that I need to just speed up the exposition from the beginning of the video to get to the point, getting to the value bit. So I'm probably going to either shorten that or remove it completely. I haven't decided yet, but keep an eye on that because I am going to change that for the next few videos that are going to come out. And yeah, we'll just get straight to the point and start talking to the guest and getting them to tell their pivot story, which is the value that people are looking for based on the feedback that you guys are telling me that you're finding really valuable. So yeah, just basically get to the point and deliver value as quickly as possible. Don't try and hold on to it till later on, because otherwise people might not even ever get to see it. So that's the second thing. The third thing is I have been a chronic designer. So we also launched the Instagram page and the TikTok page. And if you go right to the bottom of the TikTok page, you can see the evolution of the Pivots and Paydays brand so far. We started off like with quite dark colors. It's not the same tone that we're evolving into now, which is a lot more playful, is a lot more bright, is a lot more eye-catching. So you can see that evolution. The reason you can see that evolution on TikTok is because TikTok actually doesn't let you change the cover photos even for posts that are more than 7 days old. So that's a little bit annoying, but we can't really change those on TikTok. So it's going to show you like a bit of an anthology of how our brand is evolving and changing over time. But on Instagram, you can change cover photos or images, I think, from any time. Don't quote me on that. I don't know if there's a limit, but I've been able to change them pretty far back so far. As the tone of the brand is evolving, I'm definitely tweaking and changing things. The biggest things that I've learned is to make sure the text is big enough. And it seems really small. And I don't know why the text that I was using on my Instagram covers, it was just really small. Something that I didn't really consider is that people are scrolling, right? Like they're not necessarily going to zoom in. If the text is too small, you've lost your opportunity, you've lost that person. They're not going to engage with that post. So making the text bigger, making sure it's easily readable, making sure there's a good contrast between the color of your text and the rest of the post, so that again it's just eye-catching, it's visible, it stops people in their scroll if it's something they're interested in. But again, like I said, you can redesign stuff more easily on Instagram, which is great because you can obviously go back and tweak and change these things, which I will definitely be doing. So if you see the tone and the brand of Pivots and Paydays continuously change over the next few weeks and months, mind your business. We're growing, we're failing out loud. Damn.